She's Trixie, I'm Sarah, and this is our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and most any crafts when it comes to yarn or fabric or thread. And just what it offers us and what it does for us and our ability to be able to refocus and center and be able to be productive and creative
and
happy, as well as what it does to be able to help us with being able to provide and have to be able to show and offer things up as an ability to make really personalized gifts and be able to create things that people think outside of even what we think is possible, but what other people have as a vision. And it's a fun time. Obviously, I'm sure that if you're watching, you already have some sort of craft that you share with us, and we're excited to have good fellowship with you today. We are excited with some of the things that have been completed since last week.
Right.
Things we get to show off, things we get to show that we are making strides towards to finish some of our to-do lists.
Right.
And we have a very good word for you today. So if you know,
I just want to say thank you for all the new subscribers. We're getting new subscribers daily now, and it's wonderful, and
it's just fun to have all of you knowing that we're talking to
an actual audience. So we are glad that you are crocheters or knitters or whatever, and some of you are even starting to think of your favorite flower and name those, and we're going to be announcing to name the flower on the 1st of December, and then we will announce the winner on the 8th of December. So that'll be our 1-year anniversary, and
for our channel.
And I know those are Wednesdays, and this comes out on Fridays, but that's how we're doing it. So
we film on Wednesdays. They get published on YouTube on Friday. Yeah. So we are just requesting to be ready that the Friday after the 1st, be prepared that that if you want to enter in our giveaway, that's the episode in which you're going to want to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to be asking you, and again, in that video we'll tell you the instructions as well, but just a gentle reminder just to think ahead. We're asking for you guys to think of your favorite flower as to be an homage kind of to the gift that we are going to be showing off and giving you. Projects that both of us have contributed to be a full set in relations to wildflowers. So think of your favorite flower. We want to know what your favorite flower is, and we ask that you like and subscribe.
Yes.
So like that video and then subscribe.
And then comment.
Well, yeah.
To make sure, we want it to be in the comment, not in the email.
Yes. It needs to be in the comment section. But again, those details will be given again on those days. But if you want to think ahead, if you're wanting to participate in that giveaway, be prepared that that's the day in which it's going to be. So we film on the 1st. It would be it's the 3rd that you'd be having to do that if you want to be part of the giveaway. And then the following Friday would be our celebration day, in which we would be announcing who it is that is going to get our gift, and we'll communicate as to how we're going to reach out to you. So again, we're just I know that was a bit of a dump. We are going to get into today's video, but we're just excited. Again, I know I've mentioned this several times, but this is kind of something that is kind of like a grounding thing for me during the week. Like something I can look forward to, something that I can be able to be like, hey, I was able to stay motivated and get things done and be able to show it to you guys. It keeps me looking forward to what I am going to be able to talk about and have some sense of fellowship with, because even though it's just me and Mom in the room, I feel like I'm talking to someone else despite it just being a camera.
Right.
You guys do have a very active presence in our lives, even if we don't actually know all of you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys, and
Yes.
we are very excited to see what this coming year is going to offer us
Yeah.
and this channel, and where and if you guys ever have suggestions as to things you might want us to review or talk about, or techniques that you see us do, that or patterns that you see us share that we didn't give enough detail on, or fill in the blank, just let us know. We're more than willing to do special episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited for this. And I know it's November, but I've been needing happiness in my life. It's been very stressful. I can't get into it, but life has been very stressful. And obviously I do know that you guys are aware that I had surgery last Friday. And so it'd be last Friday. Today that we're filming is Wednesday, so it has been 5 days since the surgery, and recovery has not been easy. I am fine. I am doing fine. Like, my physical recovery has been easy, but a lot of warfare going into the surgery and the recovery, and it has not been a peaceful time, but God. And I am not ignorant to the things that have led up to some of this stuff. It's not like I'm just saying, oh, everything's about Satan. I mean, Satan has his part, but we're addressing things and we're getting through it. But to those that want to know, I was able to take out my stent yesterday, which is one of the final things I would have to do to actually officially say that I've recovered from the surgery. And I'm able to walk around. I am able to operate normally. Medicine is just a little bit more of a glorified version of Motrin or Tylenol. It's just a higher dosage than the average dose that I got from the pharmacy, prescribed by the doctor. So it's not like I'm not doing good. It's just a lot of unexpected twists and turns this last weekend. And but to those that did want to know, it was roughly about, from what I know, the stone was roughly about 9 milliliters by the time they got it out. Millimeters, sorry. By the time they got it out, they had to laser it. The doctor was concerned that it had possibly attached itself to one of my lining walls, and that's part of the reason why I wasn't feeling as much pain anymore, is because my body had actually accepted its existence.
And that's a dangerous thing.
Yes, because what happens is the tube in which the kidney travels to the bladder, then the bladder travels out to release what it's holding and it's processing, which would be urine. If a stone, even though it's leaving room for stuff to pass through because it's attached itself and it's to the side, because it will start to irritate the wall, it will cause the walls to swell and be irritated, and it could actually force the walls to close up, which would cause a retraction and possibly kidney failure. So stones are not as simple sometimes as people make them out to be. You know, they can be a pain in the butt with pain, but to be fair, I never gave them much thought until I experienced it. And I know that that's kind of human nature, but I always thought stones were soft. I thought that they just were obnoxious things that were hard to pass through. I didn't realize that they were, because of them being a mineral-based, as all stones are, but a mineral-based object, it's sharp. They have jagged edges, so as it's trying to pass through after it breaks off of the kidney wall, where it forms, if it is not smooth, it doesn't pass easy. So it catches and it tears and it
that's
rips,
what the pain is through the body.
And that's what the pain is, because the body's trying to cause it to reach its exit. And it's being stalled. But when the body is no longer responding is when it's almost most dangerous, and that's the stage I had reached with it. From everything that the surgeon has communicated, it was removed very simply. I have another stone actually forming in my kidney, but we have a plan as to how we're going to test it and see in what case my case with kidney stones classifies as whether it's dietary or bodily, as to how these are forming, because there's two different types, and even though bodily is a much lesser percentage based off of our medical history, there's a good high chance that this is actually a bodily condition. just based off of my age, they were kind of already put off. Kidney stones do not favor age, but it definitely is much more common in white middle-aged men very specifically.
Right.
And so it generally is labeled as a dietary thing, but they're just going to go through every single possible course of action just based off of my age and based off of how aggressive my first case was.
Right.
To make sure that they can try to limit this having to happen again.
And
But
we're grateful for that.
But there's a very good chance I might have to have this again.
Yeah.
But, having gone through it, it's not something I'd want to do again. But it's much better than living in a time in which this would be an option.
Yes.
Going through it a second time, I'd be much more prepared.
Yeah.
Take much more painkiller. Don't try to be brave about some of the pain and pushback that I was trying to do. And
the doctor knows now, so they would be
Quicker.
more likely to get things done quicker.
And because I recognize the pain and the signs, I could easily just call the doctor and be like, hey, I'm having pain, indicating that whatever stone this is has broken off and is already started again. Okay, let's get you in.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be as long of a recovery period.
Right.
And like I said, I'm going to be going through testing, and I'll update you guys as I have been. But yeah, that honestly, to be fair, that stint was so weird. I know it probably sounds weird, like a stint is just like this little tube, but that thing had to go all the way from where my exit is to my kidney to make sure that that was a straight line, to be able to make sure that
quite a long thing,
because it forces your tubes to dilate to make sure that the passage does not swell based off of all that irritation of getting everything out, because you're having things go up and down and everything to be able to get things out. And so they're just like, there was a string attached to it. I was told to go into a bath and just start to urinate and pull it out, and that sensation, and that it's just gonna be longer than you expect, and just to relax afterward. Okay, easier said than done. I got it out rather quickly. I was very proud of myself at how efficient I was. And I'm gonna make it funny, but to be fair, when you already have the constant sensation and need to pee because that stint is in, and you're filling up the bathtub, I was pacing so hard just not to pee. And then I'm not even anxious about pulling it out. I was scared that as soon as I stepped into the tub, I was just going to instantly pee myself because of the water being so warm. And so I had to brace myself to sit in the tub because I was like, I can't pee yet. I have to give myself permission to pee to be ready to use it as able to get it out quicker. And I'm just sitting there being like, this is stupid. So yeah.
Life.
Probably should put a TMI warning on this video.
Well,
sorry. Life is interesting when you are me.
And the thing is it's over now, and we're just grateful for the prayers, and yeah. So
yeah, I'm a little sore yet, but that's more of like things that are not normally touched were touched.
Residual.
And so it's just kind of like internal bruises, if that makes sense.
That's for sure.
So she got the Christmas blanket done.
We are finished.
I love this thing so much.
And it ends in a lot of green, so she should love that.
The person who's getting it is my best friend, and she is a Christmasaholic, and her last name is Green.
Yes.
So it's just like, I'm so happy. I got something to look forward to this week.
Yeah, this weekend we're going to try and give it to her, and I'm looking forward to seeing her face, because she doesn't know what's coming.
She doesn't get a choice. She has to be happy.
And she's looking forward to it just to see her reaction too, I think, so.
Oh, yeah. I've explained it to you guys before, but there are some people in which projects and doing it is the benefit of the craft. It's the best sensation of being able to be like, I'm doing something, this is productive, I enjoy doing this. The longer the better, because it draws out the anticipation. and the satisfaction. Whereas other people, it's getting the craft done and seeing the completed object that is the satisfaction, which can be why some people make smaller projects, because it takes less time for the satisfaction.
Yeah.
Not that you can't make, but it can take a little bit more effort.
Right.
Which is nothing wrong with that, because that only makes the feeling of gratification even better.
Yeah.
But even though this isn't my project, I was so giddy when she opened up the bag and showed me it, because I knew who was going to, and that Ori made it better, and I know how much they're gonna love it. And I was so happy to see it done that I was like riding a high on a project that wasn't even mine, that was completed so that I could be a part of its gift giving. This is just who I am.
It's just fun.
I live for the small things.
Yeah.
Okay?
The small happy things. Yeah.
At this point, yes.
Yeah. But I did go to my friend Jane's on Monday, and I was so happy we finally get get together again and do crafts. And she started an embroidery project, and I didn't want to bring the big Christmas blanket over there. All I had to do was finish up the green. So I brought some yarn over and I rolled it into balls and started a new project before I finished the old one, which was okay. And this is going to be in blues and grays. And so this is where I'm at.
Right.
It's just so pretty.
This is just my color palette.
And it's so nice. And what was nice is her daughter, the first thing she did when I walked in is, "Oh, I'm doing a blanket just like yours. I'm doing it in double strands too." And I said, "Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? And it builds very fast." And she said, yeah, she liked that part about it too. So, yeah. So shout out to Jane and Crystal. And Jane is cleaning out her attic, and she's got a box of yarn for me. She says, "You're going through your yarn so fast, I figured I might as well kind of give you the box and see what you can make of it." And I'm like, yes, I'm so willing to take that. So we're going to be exchanging stuff. I have some stuff in the back of my car for her, and she's got a box of yarn for me. So this is happy news.
Yes.
So, yep, that's where I'm at.
I love it so much. I don't know why, but it just gives me a lot of happiness. Story time. Me, Sarah. I was in recovery. It was days after, like even just a day after. No, same dang night as the surgery, I was still determined to get those hats done.
Yeah.
Okay. The last week, I did mention that there was what I had thought was an attempted suicide. A youth that had reached out to me, saying that they were considering taking their own life, and I stayed up with her, and because of that kind of slowed my time frame to get the projects I wanted to get done before the surgery occurred. But I was very close to reaching my goal, so I am proud of myself. And that night, the night of the surgery, I was able to finish the last hat's body, and then all I had to do was the embellishments, which I already had pretty much made. So I had all the leaves made, and I had all the pom-poms made. I just had to trim the pom-poms, apply everything, and then I had to just crochet the berries as I went. But I was just doing like 5 single crochets into a magic circle, and then just pulling it and then just sewing it on.
So that's easy enough.
I just figured that was easy enough to do as I was doing the hats, because that's just so simple to accomplish as I was going.
Right.
So I officially have the full order for these hats, these chair Christmas hats. So you can see that these are not a typical Santa hat, because it is not at a normal tapered rate. It is squared off for a bit and then it tapers off, to be able to have it fit on the back of a chair, and then the overhang as where the tapering is where the overhang is supposed to be for the decoration to have its showcasing. And so I officially have one, a two, a three, four, five,
six. Yes, completed.
They're all complete. So, and again, I took inspiration for this project on a image I saw of someone else's version of this. So this is my take on it, and I am completely willing to write up a pattern for this. If anyone is interested, please let me know before I forget it. And then just to reiterate, because I will be sending these projects out very soon.
Together.
Together.
They're going to the same person.
Yeah, they're going to the same person. Is this Santa pillow that I made?
The
Is the countdown to Christmas with that candy cane. Again, my only regret is how these lines were sewn on, and this curve to the pillow kind of makes me a little frustrated, but how it's displayed, it would show off. And there's some things in which it just proves that it was homemade.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That has its own charm. And so I'm hoping that whoever
I
gets
think this is wonderful.
Is going to like it for what it is. Because if I did it again, I would know what to do, but I was going off of what I understood, and some patterns don't exactly express in detail well how to assemble projects.
Right.
They explain in detail how to create each piece on its own, and then they just say assemble. And I would have, and I'm not judging, but in my case, I would have made a little bit more clear as to where it would be appropriate to put at least the pockets.
Right.
Just because when you're stuffing it, it changes its shape.
Right.
And so, you don't think it's that bad?
I don't, because once it's sitting up, you can still see all the numbers.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that's good, and I'm hoping that the dimensions that I was given for the hats were accurate, and that this is going to be a good completed project.
And I will link the Countdown Santa and the Santa hat. Did we not have one for the Santa hat?
No, Santa hat was something that I made up.
Okay, I will link the Countdown Santa in the description area, and that way
I'll link to the pattern that I followed.
We have it linked in another video just recently, but I will do it again for those who are asking, because I know that several of you have commented on the Santa pillow, and this is a way that you could do it if you were so inclined. So
on the day that I showed it off as complete, if you are interested in the Santa pillow pattern, it's a very cheap pattern, so I welcome you to it, but because of the few flaws I found in it, I would very much suggest you go back to that video, because I explained some of the things I wish I had known in advance and assembling the pillow and creating it. So if you are interested in my critiques, you can head back to that video.
Yeah.
Again, if you're interested in making these hats, I can make it a very versatile pattern to follow to whatever size chairs you would be making them for. And
why don't we do that, and then we can link it next week?
Okay, I kind of in some ways would prefer to do it as its own video.
Okay. All right.
We can talk about this, because I think that that would just be respectful for me to be able to just do it, because most of the time when I'm doing patterns, if it's something that I have am taking inspiration from, I take the time to explain it to you guys. But this is not exactly a pattern in which I can just say it and it can apply to everybody. Like, this is one that is size. The size is important.
Right.
It's not a one size fits all.
Right.
So therefore, it would benefit from probably having a little bit more explanation to
right.
it. But with those being completed, I am more available to my countdown for the gifts I am creating for my nephews. And also, I am starting a knitting project that I will be doing on my downtime. So, here is what I'm doing. I know that I have shown off my link.
But
so
for all the new subscribers,
one of my nephews, I have 3 nephews. I don't have any nieces, I have nephews. One of them is really interested in the video game The Legend of Zelda. The main protagonist is a warrior named Link. And I love this video game series. It's been something that I love since I was a little kid.
Yep.
And I used to want to be Link all the time, so I'm just like, goals. And he was actually Link for Halloween, and my brother just was like, this is what is going to be best that suits him if you make him something for Christmas. And so I have already got to this portion of the pattern. It is a pattern that I downloaded from, I want to say, Etsy or Ravelry. We can link that again as well. I have gotten to this portion before I got those orders for the Christmas decorations. And because I need these done before Christmas, because they need to be to the person in time for Christmas, and this person actually already has their Christmas decorations up, I knew I had to get it done now. These I were able to put on the back burner, hence because of I have to present these at Christmas. So, priorities. But I have already bought the pattern, and I've obviously gotten a lot done. But I don't even know how to explain it. I have a bag with all the yarn that I've been using to create this craft. And I can't find it.
Huh.
And because of that, I haven't been able to work on this pattern this whole entire time I've been down. And it's been really making me irritated because I'm like, I want to get this one done first. Because I have the majority of the work done. It's now just embellishing the clothes, making his wig, making his hat, making him have some cheek blush, and making his armor and his weapons and defense. And that's it. Like, it's stuff that I could have possibly had him done already. And it irked me.
We will look for it.
We'll find it. But it was just like one of those things where it's like, I genuinely can't move a lot. So I can't search for this bag.
Right.
And I can't explain to my husband how my brain works, because I always put the stuff in a grocery bag. Because I'm smart.
Yeah.
You know how many stuff I have in our room in a grocery bag? A lot more than I'd like to admit.
Right.
Because that's what I put stuff in. And so he's just like, a grocery bag, that's helpful. I'm like, listen, don't. So this is how my brain works. Well, my nephew's brother, so my brother Josh has 2 boys, and then my brother Eric has 1. So Nicholas is one of the 2 that are brothers. And so I have Noah that is wanting Godzilla.
He loves dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, anything of that
Reptiles.
nature. Right. And I will link that pattern that that I have been following. Here, I can actually pull up what that looks like.
Making a little list of all the links that we're going to do.
Yeah, it definitely is a bit of its own thing, isn't it? I do apologize for this pause because, I am not organized today. But this is a really interesting pattern because this thing is going to be huge. And I'm making it out of worsted weight yarn, and they did not make theirs out of worsted weight yarn. They made theirs out of a 3-ply yarn.
Oh, gee.
So, yeah.
I think worsted is going to wear better anyway.
Yeah, that's what this thing is going to look like. It's amazing. There's vision. They even edited in this thing having fire breath. I appreciate that effort. That just makes me happy. Well, by the way, ordered the yarn for this thing on wow, broken record, on Joann's.com for pickup the following day for my husband to pick it up after work, and apparently I did it wrong.
Oh.
Because I'm smart. And it never was confirmed, so they never had the order excuse me.
Oh no.
Luckily they still had the yarn, so my husband was able to just pick it up, but the discount that we had due to the coupon I had used was not able to be applied. He was not happy. But I already have the head.
That is so cool.
Done. I still have to make the eyes, and then obviously the body will taper, and then I make the ligaments and the stuff. But yeah, I'm excited. This thing is going to be fun to make. I just, you look forward to some things.
And she likes to make the stuffies. I don't even understand how to do any of that. But that is for her, and I do the blankets. So.
And I've already changed the pattern a couple times on this thing.
Oh, no. So
there's just a couple of things in which, because of the yarn I was using, it wasn't working to the scale
okay.
of how it was applying. So like the mouth pieces weren't fitting on the mouth, so I had to do an extra row on the mouth
Okay.
to make sure that everything was lining up right. And there was a portion in which there was a huge increase in the neck area to be able to have this body jut out right here, and I didn't like how it lined up, and I wanted it to be even, how it puffed out. And where her yarn ended up with how her yarn was wearing on the round obviously was working for where the increases she put them, but it wasn't working for me. So I still made the increases, but I just placed it just slightly different
Right.
in the row. Doing this for a long time, you have a little bit of that
Former knowledge.
you have the ability to know what someone is trying to tell you to do and to be able to apply it appropriately to where you're at.
Right.
With
the yarn that you're using.
It's not like she was wrong. This pattern's been very good. It's 49 pages long.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why I didn't have you print it this time.
I'm so, I like simple things. She goes for the more complicated stuff, but it looks good when she's done. It's awesome.
Yeah, see, 49.
Wow. She's only on page 3.
It's all good. It's all good.
She's got until Christmas.
I got the yarn yesterday and already have this much done.
Yeah,
so
it's going to work out.
I don't think I'm going to be that behind this year. Because last year was... Don't tell me that.
I wouldn't. I'm not saying that. I'm saying. I was just
so
thinking.
offended.
No. I was just thinking that you have Braxton's order now too. So, which you're gonna explain, but I'm just gonna say that there's 3 boys that she's making for.
Yeah, I originally had only the 2 projects, but it was like I wasn't just gonna make homemade gifts for 2 of my 3.
Right.
That didn't feel right.
No.
And though my brother Josh is the one who introduced the idea of me again making homemade gifts for the boys, and they're helping me with the cost because this is a lot of material. They're not paying for my labor, but because I want this to be a gift from me, but because they're the one who introduced the idea, and because of how much I've already had to buy, they are willing to be able to contribute to the gift in the aspect of helping me pay for the cost of the materials.
Yeah.
Because I had to buy like a 5-pound box worth of polyfill just to make sure I had enough for this project.
That's
5 pounds.
That's awesome.
Well, because I knew it was gonna need it. And I'm just like, holy crap.
But you like to make stuffies anyway. I mean, that's your thing, so.
And I'm not trying to pick favorites here, but it's like I already had the intentions of getting these done, and I know that they're going to pay me for it. And I'm not trying to pick favorites as to be like, oh, well, I'm expecting them to pay, but not this one to pay. They didn't ask.
Right.
And so me reaching out and saying I'm going to do this for my 3rd nephew wasn't something that I was expecting them to do anything more for. This
Right.
was me reaching out, being like, because I'm already doing this,
Right.
I wanna be able to show that I love him just as much, because I do.
And who is the character you're making for him?
Baby Yoda. Amazingly enough, I am not probably going to have to buy a lot of the materials that are going to be in making the Baby Yoda, just because of what I already have in my stash, and because Baby Yoda has been such an iconic character since The Mandalorian has come out, that there's so many different patterns that I can glean from,
Right.
that even if I choose not to buy a pattern, I likely will be able to get the gist through all the free patterns as to how to create this one on my own.
Right.
So there's ways in which I can have some little bit creative liberty with how to create this one and apply what I've already learned from making amigurumi into this pattern, and
Yeah.
use materials that I already have to be able to lessen its effect on my my overall spending and labor for
Right.
this one.
And if you need anything, I've got stuff in my stash too.
Right. So I'm pretty confident about that. I don't really have a pattern set out for it, but Baby Yoda, I mean, you're gonna see him. He's gonna be a face here. You're gonna love him. But I'm just trying to decide whether I'm gonna have his capsule be something I make for him. We'll see. I had mentioned that I'm also going to be working on a knitting project.
Right.
I did say that, right?
Yes, you did.
Um,
And now that you're bringing the yarn out, I know who it's for.
my mother-in-law had been on vacation, and she's just walking around stores and doing stuff, and she ends up coming home from vacation with a bag for me, and I'm thinking, oh, she thought of me. And then she's like, make me a blanket.
She threw the bag at her and said, "Here's my yarn."
She's like, I found this yarn. It's a Lion brand Mandela.
Thick and quick.
And the ombre called Stairwell. And this pretty much speaks her. Like, granted, she's much more of a purple, but all these other colors,
She's neutrals.
yeah, she's tame, neutral, soothing colors.
Yeah.
That's really what speaks to her. And she got 4 of them. She said they were on sale where they were. They were originally $7.99 and they were down to $3.99. So she bought what was left, and she said that she'd be willing to commit to purchasing whatever it was going to take for this to get fully made to a blanket. She said she wanted a blanket specifically. And I'm like, okay, ombre yarn, do you have a vision? Or are you just expecting me to have one? And I wasn't saying that rudely. It was just more of like,
I need
to know.
Yeah.
And she said, whatever comes naturally to you, you're the crafter. But obviously, I really like this yarn, so have it be shown off. I want this to be something that is a throw over my couch.
Okay.
And that changed it, because originally I was thinking it's a lap blanket.
Right.
No, this is supposed to be something that you can use, but she wants to show off.
Yeah.
And so that takes on a completely different, like, I have to put effort into this. Not saying I wouldn't, but like, there's
A mental vision of what she actually wants.
right. This is something that she wants to show off.
Yeah.
And yes, the yarn is pretty, but cakes are very hard sometimes for me personally, because yes, there are the ombres where they start it from the light to the dark, but some of the cakes start with the dark to going into the light, but then some of them start where it's not in the consistent, it's right in the middle.
Yeah.
And if I was gonna do it where it was like where it's just a straight line, or even like the crocheted chevron,
Yeah.
I would have to roll it in such a way to make sure that the ombre was
Yeah.
consistently working in the same direction. And I didn't want to stress about it. I didn't want to, because she only gave me 4 of these, and these only have
87 yards.
87 yards. And it's not like that's not going to be a decent size, but we're going to need more. It's just obvious. And regardless of whether she wants to get solids in these that would be able to complement, or more of this specifically, I knew it was going to be an expense that she's already willing to do, but it's like, how can I make this worth it where if she changes her mind to have it be solids,
Right.
while I'm already working on it, I can still make that work.
Right.
So I've been looking into just typing in on like even Google, ombre crocheted patterns inspire me, you know? There wasn't much. There was like a waffle blanket, there was a chevron, there was the log cabin, but that one even required a certain sort of ombre. Ones with only maybe like 2 or 3 colors and more in the same shade instead of like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like,
So
there's blankets, and all the other blankets were actually solid colors that they were changing over into the next color and into the next color and into the next color. And I was sitting there being like, I got something that I need to have something where it's a little bit more workable, like flexible. This needs to work for me. And it hit me. I'm thinking about this as being only a crocheted blanket. I could knit this.
Yeah.
And that took a completely different turn. Because amazingly enough, that is not copy and paste. You can't just knit a blanket the same as you crochet a blanket.
Right.
And yeah, crochets can be a little bit more creative just based on the fact that it's not contingent on how much a needle can hold.
Right.
But knitting lays out differently, and it holds the weight of the stitches differently, and it's not as stiff. And I liked that. And I got on, I think I was on Pinterest and I was looking this up this time, and it took me to a link in which it was showing off a whole bunch of different ombre blankets that were done in knit, and I found this pattern and it was for free, and so I downloaded it and I really like it. God darn it.
There you go.
There. It is considered a mitered square throw and pillow pattern.
Oh, that's pretty.
So I will show you the pillow because that's considered one
Right.
block. So that's the block. It's starting in this corner and then it's working up in a square formation with the increases being very direct, that it's layered at an angle shooting out, so to speak. And you can see how the ombre works for this. And the blanket layout, you just have all the points going in the same direction, and it doesn't matter where the ombre is. It looks cool. I was happy. Because to be fair, this blanket's going to take me some time. And I wanted it to be a relaxing project.
Luckily, she's not asking for Christmas.
No, she's not. But I was like, the projects that I'm doing right now, it's not that I can't do them in front of a TV, but half the time I'm watching YouTube when I'm doing these projects, and it's something where it's more of an audio narrative.
Something to listen to.
Something to listen to more than to watch.
Yeah.
Something where someone's just telling you a story, or like a vlog where I don't necessarily have to actually watch what they're doing to know what they're doing. And you can't always do that with movies. Movies I've seen over and over again is not going to hold my interest long enough to be able to actually enjoy while crocheting or knitting. And so I didn't want to have my big projects that required me to look at a pattern every single time, every single couple rows, to be my downtime. And so I have committed to this. And what I really like about it is that it's squares. So once I figure out what the pattern is, I can just make squares.
Right.
I can just sit and watch TV and just make a square.
And just make so many of them.
And make so many of them. And wherever the ombre falls, it falls.
Right.
I don't have to worry about it.
There you go. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So as many as I require, I don't have to worry about where the ombre is.
There you go.
I just like it. And
Yeah.
I think that she will too. And it will look cool on the back of a
Yeah.
couch or chair. Because that's very interesting block. And you don't ever think about the fact that knitting, you can make Afghans as well. Because you always think of the crocheted Afghans where it's just granny squares. But this is a really cool take on that. Blanket construction, and I'm really hoping that this turns out the way that I am. They are required to be on circular needles, so I ordered those yesterday on Amazon. They will be here by tomorrow, so probably by next week I'll be able to show off at least some sort of progress on this, on top of my progress on the crafts for Christmas that I have already started. I'm hoping to have the link semi-done, if not fully done, and have the Godzilla in a really high place, and already have decided what Baby Yoda I have decided on doing. And likely these Christmas stuff will already be sent out.
Yeah.
So that's my update. So let's get to the Bible verse of the...
Yeah. The scripture this week is, "A glad heart makes a happy face." And that's found in Proverbs 15:13a, because there's a whole second part on that, but I didn't want to talk about that part. And the NLV, I'm not sure which version that is, but...
That's the translation in which this verse is found in.
So, a glad heart makes a happy face. We are glad that the Christmas blanket is done for her best friend. We are glad that the Christmas hats are done and the countdown Santa is done, that she can send it. It's a glad time today to be able to have these things finished and be able to get them sent on their way and to the person that we want them to go to, and that makes me happy. And so it was a good thing that I heard this on the radio the other day, and it was like, yeah, that's the one. I want that.
Yeah, she heard it on the radio. They did not have the second half of the verse, and they did not explain what version that verse came from. So we were actually looking
We had to look it up.
We looked at Bible Gateway to see that one verse and all the translations that are out there. We found it. But to read it from all those different translations, I was laughing so hard. I'm not saying that I'm making fun of the Bible, but to see how many people and how many different ways people can say, you know, if your heart's happy, it shows.
On your face.
On your face, on your countenance.
Yeah.
You will smile. Like,
it was
funny.
Fun. But it made us happy.
But that's true. You can't stop whatever's in here from affecting your outward appearance. And that is applied to anything. If you're unhappy, it's very hard to fake. If you're happy, that's hard to fake.
Everything shows on my face. If people can read me.
No poker face.
Yeah, no. None. People can read me very easily by just looking at my face. Even when they're talking, and I don't even know that I'm doing it. And
all of a sudden they'll stop and be like,
what's the matter?
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh, I forgot. It shows on my face, doesn't it? So.
But yeah, so it's just one of those things of like, the work of the fruit of a happy heart is very evident in the harvest of how it affects your outward appearance. You know, it's an instant gratification. It's an instant, you can tell when someone is genuinely happy. Yeah. There are ways of telling, and it's just nice to have those simple reminders of, I am just so blessed by the crafts that I get to share and get to do and operate in, and just having that release and that outlet, because in times like these, if I didn't have that grounding anchor, it'd be very hard. Yeah. I was doing everything I could this weekend to have something to be able to center myself on. Yeah. And projects saved my butt. They saved my butt. And it's not that God wasn't involved, but God was giving me them as a healthy outlet.
Yes.
And
Thank you,
a
Lord.
healthy and productive outlet. And that's why we always talk about, situated mental health. Like, I know that phrase is kind of like a conundrum because we're not necessarily saying, to a stable ability, but like mental health in and of itself is like contingent on some of our coping mechanisms. To have a healthy mentality, you have to have healthy coping mechanisms. And sometimes when you're stressed and you're upset, not having that ability to ground yourself in something that is going to keep you still, but keep you productive,
right,
and be able to see that you've been able to do something with that time, it can kind of rewrite your thoughts to being like, nope. It gives you time to think.
right,
And to be able to figure out what you want to do next, or to give you that break of, I don't have to do this anymore. I've reached this point of the day where I can just craft.
Yeah.
And it's something to look forward to. And it's just that anchor. And it's a forced meditation. And
Right.
I just love it. And I'm so grateful. And you can't keep me down. Like, this is something that truly does make my heart happy.
Yeah.
And I am very grateful to it.
I'm so glad we figured that out when we did, because sometimes life just throws curveballs and we just need something to do with our hands that will steady our hearts and steady our minds. And God is good. He will make a way where you just didn't think there was a way.
God will always give you the ability to go back into some sort of level of control.
Yeah.
And to be able to have a productive ability to correct yourself and be able to control what you're doing. Crafting is one of the best ways to be able to do that.
Right.
To refocus, to recenter. Because you're being productive while being able to stay still.
Yeah.
And just do. Sometimes. And it's not like there isn't other motivations. Obviously, I have things I gotta get done. And these aren't necessarily just my projects, but
right,
they're good. They're healthy, and I enjoy it. We're getting close to the end. We definitely been talking for a little while, and we hope that this is not too much of a bother to any of our old or new subscribers. Again, we will be making more updates closer to the time. To explain how you can enter in the giveaway, but just be ready for December 3rd, because that's the day that we will be doing it. And so as long as you're ready for that, then I will figure out who it is and we'll get it ready for you guys.
And we'll announce it. Be happy.
And I just realized something. I don't want to get any sort of backlash. I am drinking a Monster. I know some people are going to be like, why? You got kidney stones. Why are you drinking that? I just had one left in my cupboard. And I've just had a really rough week. And I wasn't allowed to have anything caffeinated while I was having all those medicines in me.
Right.
And it's not that I'm necessarily tired, but I just needed that treat. And they don't think that this is what caused it.
Right.
So, like, even dietary wise, they don't think that this is what caused it. So
right,
I just was giving myself a treat. So please, I am trying to be productive for my health.
Right.
I just wanted a treat. So just clarifying, I do recognize these are not good for me,
right,
but moderation.
Right.
So I love you. I hope that you guys had a good week. We will see you next week. And we are excited for what we're able to share with you.
Yes.
Please share with us what you're doing, how your life is. You can do it in the email that we have listed in the description if you want to be a little bit more private or have prayer requests or whatever.
Right.
Or you can share it in our community with
on the
comment section.
We're loving those comments.
We really are. It really warms our hearts.
Yes.
So we love you guys. We hope that you're having a good day. And as always, we hope that you stitch your way
to mental health.